Hello and a warm welcome to News Across Nigeria. I'm Olumide Macaulay. On today's program, the Senate questions Minister of State for Aviation and Minister of Transportation over the planned closure of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, and alternative arrangements made. Governor Akinwumi Ambode of Lagos State inspects projects, says quality is key. And Kwara State residents demand proper implementation of 2017 budget as government awaits passage by the State House of Assembly. Thank you so much for joining us. We begin with the aviation industry, and the Minister of State for Aviation, Mr. Sirika, and the Minister of Transportation, Mr. Amaechi, have appeared before the Senate to explain the reason for the planned closure of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport in Abuja. The Senate invited both ministers on Tuesday to explain the reason for the closure and rather explore other options besides closing the airport. Lawmakers are opposing it, that is the closure, which they say will bring hardship to local and international travelers. The Minister of State for Aviation explains that to continue to operate, the Abuja airport will be unsafe and it will be unreasonable as there are daily incidents on the runway. He also says every flight plan always has an alternative landing route, and Kaduna has always been the alternative for the Abuja airport. He pointed out that most of the sections of the runway have collapsed, and if multiple sections have collapsed, it could be taken to mean the entire runway has collapsed. The runway in the Abuja airport was constructed in 1982 with a lifespan of 14 years, which had been exceeded. Former President Chief Olusegun Obasanjo has urged the federal government to show stronger support for farmers and end hunger in the country by the year 2030. The former president also listed other important areas as recommended in a Zero Hunger Strategic Review report launched in Abuja to facilitate food security.
In the last few years, Nigeria has developed a reputation for evolving bold ideas to boost agriculture in the country, many of which have ended as mere paper talk. To put an end to this trend, former President Olusegun Obasanjo chaired the development of a Zero Hunger Strategic Review report that the federal government would need to address the reality of increasing hunger by 2030.
The key to achieving zero hunger depends on implementation and our collective will. There must be strong support for farmers at all levels and for producers or producers' organizations. And governments must additionally provide the right policies, regulations, and incentives. We must address the humanitarian situation in the Northeast and put into place holistic development and growth solutions that will make it difficult for insurrections to take roots.
Working with the private sector to achieve the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 2 and find effective ways to beat poverty and malnutrition, the Minister of Health says the country stands to lose over 5 million children to malnutrition in the Northeast.
The sad irony is that these regions provide the bulk of the food that we eat in this country. How is it that the regions that produce the food is the region with the highest number of children with malnutrition? Government has to do the needful to ensure that we tackle not only malnutrition, but food insecurity.
In each state, the governor needs to declare at least 2 crops and 1 livestock that will be the priority for them, for their state. It could be more than 2 crops, it could be more than 1 livestock.
The promoters say the 60-page Zero Hunger Roadmap document, which has 4 states as pilot to monitor agricultural productivity, will be intensely monitored every 6 months. Gloria.
Meanwhile, in the southwest, also concerning food security as one of the issues discussed, the Oni of Ife has advised state governments in the southwest of the country to align their policies towards actualizing sustainable food security in the region. The monarch, who gave the advice during a courtesy visit to the governor of Lagos State, Mr. Abuja at the State House in Ikeja, acknowledged the pivotal role of Lagos in the development of the country. And he also asked leaders in the region to take advantage of Lagos being the largest food consumer state by exploring their land available for agricultural purposes. On his part, Governor Ambode promised to scale up economic integration already existing in the southwest.
We can partner in respect of food security. My governor in Osun State, we have land for agriculture. Same in Oyo State, same in Ondo State, same in Ekiti State. You will not believe that 80% of all the products from those farmlands are wasted. It is only about 20% that gets to the metropolis of Lagos for consumption. Now imagine if we can just synchronize and work together on how to take food security to another level.
I believe strongly that the test case of what we're trying to do about food security in Lagos State is just more or less like an elixir for what it should be across the Western region. And on that note, we want to also say that we have already acquired land in Ogun State and even also in Oyo State. But what is imperative for us to move forward now on is that we will integrate all other southwestern states into the food security mechanism of demand and supply for us to be able to move forward.
Mr. Abuja, Governor, Lagos State. And in neighboring Ogun State, the government is taking steps to encourage and protect moribund local industries to create more jobs for unemployed youth and boost the state's economy. The State Commissioner for Commerce and Industry, Mr. Bimbashir, reveals the intention of the government during a facility tour of a private plastic industry in the Ijebu-Ode area of the state.
As a government, we need to protect our local industry and buy made in Nigeria and buy in Nigeria, because I always tell people that as a country, we have no business being an import-dependent economy. We are a country that is endowed with a lot of mineral and natural resources, so we have business in exporting things so that we can even create foreign exchange. Instead of putting so much pressure on foreign exchange and we now depend so much on, let's be honest with ourselves, our local currency is Naira. It's not dollar, it's not pounds. So what we need to do is that as a country, we want to turn it, what China did, we want to do it in Nigeria. And this is one of the ways we can do that. We can create industrial hub here, industrial factories here, and encourage backward integration, whereby so many companies who are like minds can come in here. Plastic industries, we have the packaging here, so they can all come in here on almost 5 hectares of land, and they can even get other lands for extension. So that's why we are here as government, to support our local industries, to encourage them. If you look at the local industries that have gone moribund in the last 10 years in this country, it's not a good story.
You're watching news across Nigeria. Coming up, we'll stay in the southwest and hear what the Cocoa Exporters Association of Nigeria have to say about high interest rates. Please stay with us.